If you have been watching the currently airing seasons of Drag Race, those being Drag Race UK versus the World and Drag Race Season 14, you most probably have had a moment where you either heavily debated joining a convent or simply felt the need to put your own head through a wall. These two seasons are the worst offenders in Drag Race gaslighting its audience, but doing it so poorly that anyone with even an ounce of a brain cell can see right through it. I would say that this video is for anyone that still believes Drag Race is fair and that RuPaul and the show don't look at their contestants as just tokens that will gain them more wealth, clout, and brownie points, but honestly, it's for anyone in general. I had to take a little sexy break from doing videos because exams, grown-up stuff. So there are a couple of new patrons to shout out this week. Hopefully I did not miss anyone, so here goes. Let's all welcome and say thank you to Subgentry, Fabs, Armando, I'm guessing, Velvet Condoms, J-Mold, and Andrew Hoover. Now, I'm reminding all tier 3 patrons that if they want to participate in the predictions videos, they can message me on Patreon, but also, of course, that is not going to be the only video type where there will be patron participation. So if the prediction videos are not something that you're interested in, something that you are more interested in could be coming up in the future. As you know, I've stopped doing the pointless episode per episode reviews over a year ago, and I have been doing videos related to topics or things that happen during whichever season is currently airing. And that's why for season 14, I've made a rant video about the nonsense Maddie was put through and the nonsense that Alyssa Hunter, legend, could have won, should have won the season, was put through. After the 6th episode's design challenge, I got 2 video ideas. One we're doing today, and the other I will cover sometime soon. Today's topic is basically just, hey, Drag Race is a production that keeps getting worse each season. And I know there will be some boomer in the comments going, oh my god, you're all so stupid, why even make a video? Of course it's a production, get over it. Well, yeah, Drag Race has always been a production. I mean, it's a TV show for God's sake. But in the earlier seasons, the production factor was obvious in the sense that we know that we're being told a story and we were okay with it because the narratives were good and mostly natural. The show sometimes had to adapt on the fly and build a season around a queen that they did not see as a possible winner. For example, look at season 5, where Ru and the show clearly adored Roxy and wanted her to win, but they couldn't crown her at the end because you can't really have a villain win, especially over Jinx. Or look at season 4, where the actual reality had to be warped to show certain queens as more bland and other queens as more villainous because the audience responded so well to Sharon Needles. Compare how good those 2 seasons were with Season 12, where the season's top 4 had 3 queens the show pushed heavily, preparing us for a possible Gigi, Crystal, or Sherry win, only to end up crowning Jada, legitimately the only deserving competitor. I know many people look at season 12 through rose-colored glasses, because we watched it during the pandemic, and because it was the first time the show actually took a definitive stance against the queen, but it's not a good season. Structurally, it makes no sense, the storylines are all over the place, too many contestants are used as token villains or token otherness queens, and the judging overall is just horrendous. Why did this happen? Well, because the show wants to convey a certain message to you with the queens that they push, and instead of building the reality show around the reality, they're trying to manipulate reality for the sake of a reality show. Let's cast our minds back to season 10. The season starts airing, and with it, the pit stop and fashion photo review. Now, you might be thinking, what does this have to do with what we're talking about? Well, those 2 YouTube shows are more or less extensions of Drag Race itself. But unlike Drag Race, they are sold to us as just 2 queens giving you their genuine feelings about the show. There are no ulterior motives, right? Of course there are. From the beginning of the season, on the pit stop hosted by Raja, a friend of RuPaul's and a person that's been in the system behind Drag Race for many years, proclaimed that the two queens that impressed her the most and that she was rooting for were Aquaria and Eureka. Now, you might be like, what's wrong with that? I mean, nothing. But in the beginning of the season, Aquaria and Eureka were non-factors. There was nothing to indicate them doing great later. In most other pit stop episodes, the host and the guest say their predictions for the future of the season based on what's been happening in the season thus far. And even though they would end up being the season's top two queens, they did not have their own storylines on the show until the next episode, with Aquaria getting her first win in episode 4 and Eureka in episode 5. They were non-factors up until that point in the season, but on the pit stop, they were painted as the most important queens on that season. Why would Raja lie to us? She's just there giving her honest opinion, and she 100% is not being told what to say or getting paid to do so in order to manipulate the audience. And I don't think I have to talk about how heavily Fashion Photo Review tried to manipulate the audience's view of Eureka's fashion on that season, trying to mask the heavy favoritism she received weekly. Hi, by the way, this is me editing here. I also want to add that this is not something that's been a recent thing on Drag Race, because on season 1, when the show tried to push BB as their first ever winner, even though Nina Flowers was doing better and was liked more by fans, the show lied while airing the actual season that BB was the one who was most liked, but the numbers that they actually presented were falsely reported, I guess. There's a whole section about that in my video about the mistreatment of Nina Flowers and Dongina on season 1, so you can go watch that for more information. But I digress. However, sometimes RuPaul messes up. He says some things that he shouldn't say, so he has to cover his ass by pushing forward queens that he may have wronged with his choices and or comments. This brings us to season 14. I did not retroactively make the predicting the winner after the 4th competitive episode for this season because the editing of this season itself is so messy. Just watch top RPDR videos, The Chop, for further analysis if you're interested. And because it's clear as day that they could screw over some of their most impressive queens that I've ever had on the show, Angeria and Willow, in order to, again, cover RuPaul's ass. Angeria is not being shown as a threat, even though she has been nothing but high since the beginning of the season. She has the Bianca or Jinx competition capabilities and adaptability that we have rarely seen on Drag Race, but she's edited as if she needs RuPaul's or Michelle's help to get to those placements. However, interestingly enough, on All-Star 6, when Kylie Sonique was struggling in the acting challenge, when Michelle showed her what to do, and when Kylie still did 50% of what Michelle actually showed, she won, and the edit was like, she did this all on her own, you guys. You did not see that scene with Michelle. Look over there, look at the pretty lady with a scepter. It's like they don't want us to care for Angeria as a competitor. Willow also shows great adaptability, very similar to what Evie Oddly was giving on season 11, but much like with Evie, the show treats Willow as a less than queen because of her illness/disability. I mean, come on. RuPaul literally talks to Willow in baby voice. It's insane. However, who knows, maybe there will be a backlash against Ru and the show because of this, and Willow might get her flowers, albeit for all the wrong reasons. So who are the queens that season 14 is pushing? Well, you already know who they are. But before I say their names, no, I am not saying that they're not good queens. I'm not taking away from their talent. I'm talking about the fact that the show only views them as tools or tokens for RuPaul to clear up his past. The queens in question are Kerri, Colby, and Kornbread Jeté. It's very telling that when you go onto the Drag Race YouTube channel, the two of them are very often the focus of their videos. Let's look at the channel's 30 latest videos. Let's also not focus on the videos that we would expect from the season, like the pit stop, watch a packing videos, runways, challenges, sneak peeks, and lip syncs, meaning their regular content. We are left with a video titled The Season season 14 queens impersonate each other, which is kind of like a regular content thing. It's like a Meet the Queens extension, where no queen is put into clear focus and the 3 queens in the thumbnail are just there, you know. And then we have a video where the focus is Kornbread helping Willow, and another where the focus is Kerri talking about Kornbread. The winner, or at least the heavily pushed queen of season 15, will be Kornbread. I'm calling it now. The showrunners are going out of their way to have us focus on these two, even outside of the realm of the show, giving them extra time to be liked by the audience, and let's not forget, also always showing them in overly positive light on the show. Furthermore, in this latest episode, episode 6, in an episode where the focus was not on Kerri, where Kerri was not an important factor of the episode, nor did she have a top or a bottom placement in the episode, we got random cuts to her reacting to stuff. Like here, during a moment at the end of the episode where she was not the focus of the scene, so that we, the audience, can connect to her. However, instead of getting us to do so organically, they're warping our view of the show and are being like Kerri, see how good we are making her look. Would a transphobic showrunner ever present a trans woman so positively? No sir, they won't. Stop lying. Also, don't even get me started on Kerri being safe into design, sewing, whatever challenges, where everyone and their mom in either of these two outfits would have been put into the bottom 2 in any other season's balls. Balls. But then again, Jorgeous won a design challenge in this, which is kind of the same caliber as the outfits that Kerri made. But then again, Jorgeous only won so that RuPaul can cover his ass for the clear mistreatment of Hispanic queens that there was no way they could hide with Alyssa's elimination. But wait, Alyssa was sacrificed for the sake of who looking good? That's right, Kerri. I mentioned that this video subject also related to what's currently happening on UK versus the world. Without getting into too much detail, I'll just say 2 words. Bag of chips. And that's it. That's the video. Okay, the order of business is predictions for UK versus the world and season 14, rankings for season 14 this weekend, my sex tape drops February 30th, and also get vaccinated, or I'm calling your mom. Thank you for watching.